Hey, Nate, what are you doing this weekend? You want to hang out or something?
I mean, I wish I could, but some guy invited me to be a groomsman at his wedding. I don't really even want to go to the wedding.
Ah, man, that sucks. Why don't you just use that same way that you got out of your last marriage? Like, should work, right?
You know what? I think that may work. Yeah, I can just fake my death again and get out. I think that'll work this time.
Yeah, six times a charm, right?
That's what I hear.
Welcome into the Bro Force Squad podcast. I almost said Bro Force Squad challenge. It is a challenge getting through this show because we're giving you a
Some,
review on
sometimes.
episode 6 of She-Hulk, titled Just Jen. Let's get right into it. I'm Brian Banner. We got Nate Thurman with me today. And Nate, what'd you think of the acting and cast in this?
Um, I mean, really, nothing new really stood out to me. Uh, I think Jen Walters is still doing fine for what her role is expecting of her. I still like just the way she's portraying that character in She-Hulk for the most part.
She's
But
doing everything she can with what she's given.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The breaking of the fourth wall is still
God,
just
it hurts.
making me, but that's more like a just a plot storyline kind of thing, or just an overall overarching thing that's bothering me. That doesn't have anything to do with her acting. Um, but yeah, and then everyone else is just kind of honestly, everyone else is just kind of blah. I don't.
I thought Ginger Gonzaga and Renee Goldsberry, who plays Nikki and Mallory Book,
Yeah.
um, I thought they had some good chemistry and they really played off each other really well. Uh, Ginger Gonzaga, especially, is really coming in her own in this as we get into the second half of this show, um, which is not good that you have your annoying best friend character is the best part of your show.
Yeah.
But I thought that those two stood out in a very positive way as well.
That's a good point. I mean, honestly, even this episode, I haven't been a huge fan of the Nikki Ramos character played by Ginger Gonzaga. But Mallory Book, I do like what she's doing with that character. Um, I think she's just a good actress in general. Love her from Hamilton
Yep.
and her role as Angelica. So um, I think she is. Now that you mentioned that, she's kind of a shining light on that side, but everything else is kind of just meh to me.
Yeah, your role player shouldn't be the spotlight of your acting and casting. But moving on to even a worse part of the show, the story and plot. I'll start this one off. This is the biggest compliment I can give this episode slash show. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, that's usually not good when
I
that's the
didn't love
compliment.
it, but I didn't hate it. I am a sucker for wedding episodes in shows traditionally. This one was a little bit more obscure of one. Um, but I didn't hate it. I don't know what it was. Maybe there was something in the air. Uh, but the idea of being invited to somebody that you haven't seen in 15, 20 years solely because you're She-Hulk and then getting treated basically like you were in high school, like a piece of shit, until you are She-Hulk is it was entertaining. And then obviously the B story with Mr. Immortal faking his death 10 times with all of his different wives. I thought that one was actually really funny. Uh, second episode in a row where your B story is funnier than your A story or better than your A story. Not good.
Yeah, yeah, I would kind of agree with that, and I've kind of taken a step back with this show, and it's yeah, the plot threads on this, the two different plot threads, they were fun. The design of the whole episode wasn't that great. I'm still kind of confused. Like, did she open like Be My Bridesmaid box, and then like that week she's going to the wedding? Like, I actually rewound and like, did this say like a year ago or something? Like, it just seemed like so disjointed.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like on a Monday she gets a card, not even a phone call, a card. Hey, come be a bridesmaid, and then you have the elusive Wednesday Thursday wedding.
Yeah, I don't,
We
and I
all
didn't get.
love.
Was that like some plot device or something like a Thursday wedding, or just like maybe it's just the same thing thrown there, like, oh, weddings are difficult and there's always something going on with them. But yeah, the beginning of the episode just like threw me off. I'm like, oh, we're having a wedding and she's actually in the wedding
Yeah, they were
coming in.
like, "Look, guys, we want a wedding episode. It doesn't matter how we get there. Just roll with us. We'll get there."
Yeah, and during one of the opening scenes, she does the cut to the break the
Yeah,
fourth
the
wall. I'm
fourth
just like, what?
wall.
This is a wedding episode. Okay, cool. I get that. You don't need to.
Kind of figured that out.
You don't need to
I
tell me.
didn't read it, so we'll go ahead and read it now. But the synopsis for this episode is: Jen is a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding, a stressful event compounded by uniquely She-Hulk issues.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, her and Titania have their little fight at the wedding. What'd you think of that? Was that
It was all right. That was kind of one of the parts that was also confusing to me and seemed disjointed again for this episode. Like, oh, this wedding that she's going to. Oh, I'm going to start dating some random guy to get in. Like, okay, I get like,
Shouldn't you, realistically though, you should be in jail still, not trying to find a
yeah,
way to
we
get to some random ass wedding that
yeah.
She-Hulk is going to.
Yeah, we
I
could we
don't.
could go back to that whole argument we had on the last pod or pod before. Like, she should still be in jail. I don't know why she's out unless it's on bond or something. But like, there are other ways they could have like connected them for this fight or anything. It's just it seems sloppy, like the structure of these episodes. Like, we can just have her start dating like someone in the that's going to the wedding. Oh, cool, yeah, okay, let's do that. And then like the
Yeah.
fight, there wasn't really much to the fight, to be honest.
No, I mean, a couple of punches, some little slow-mo action, but that was about it. Um,
Yeah.
so let's just keep moving on to best scene. Did you have one?
Um. So my favorite scene, and like I said, if this would have been like 3 or 4 episodes ago, this probably wouldn't have been. Just because I was in a completely different mindset. But honestly, uh, Mr. Immortal, like in litigation with all of his other 7, 8 wives and one husband, I'm guessing.
I
That's
believe
what.
so, yes.
Yeah, they like lightly touched on it, and it's weird, like them like treading waters towards having him be like, I guess, bisexual, but like they don't.
Which doesn't bother me either way. It was just
No,
kind of weird how they present it. They're like wife number 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and person. Wait,
yeah,
what?
and yeah, I think they just like said the guy's name in there, but yeah, I've no issue with that at all. But it's just, yeah, just weird how they present it and like throw it in there randomly. I'm like, oh, okay. But there is a weird, also like a polygamy theme going on in this series because you've got that, and then you've got Blonsky with his 7 soulmates, like that he
Yeah.
found like in the pen pal program in prison or whatever. So I'm like, what? This is a weird themes coming across here. I don't know because there's like once, okay, 2 times now it's starting to show a pattern. I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
that's
If it
interesting.
comes up one more time, we have a trend.
But anyway, I thought that was it was kind of a fun scene, seeing like him have to like squirm a little bit and like face what he really didn't want to face, coming into it with all his ex-wives, and then you really like getting into like the meat and potatoes of like his mindset, and like he's really done this faking his death like many times, and he's been alive for, I don't know, maybe 1,000 years, who knows.
Who
So
knows?
he's
Yeah.
got a lot under his belt. But that was a fun, playful scene.
I agree. That was
Yeah.
that was my best scene as well. Just with him sitting back and Mallory Book just kind of like sitting there while Nikki is sitting crisscross applesauce style on the table, basically like running an auction negotiation. Well, if she gets this, she's gonna get this. Come on, you really think you deserve that? Come on, no, you're
Yeah.
not gonna get this. Fine, we'll up it to 20 seconds of eye contact. That whole scene was just very, very well done. And again, for the second episode in a row, your side story that isn't supposed to mean anything, it's just kind of filler because they don't have quite enough on the main storyline, was
Yeah.
better than your main storyline. And that, again, for the second time or second week in a row. That's not a good thing.
No, and like yeah, to the character of Nikki Ramos, to her credit, like I said, I haven't really been that impressed with her. Like that was a turning point. I think you said earlier, like they had some good rapport back and forth, but like just her in and of herself, like that scene, like she really took over, took charge when she's been constantly playing second fiddle to Jen Walters the whole time. So that was a good step in the right direction for her character overall.
Yeah, she's done a good job of staying in her lane, and she's shining when she needs to shine.
Hmm. Agreed. Agreed.
Got anything else? Are we ready to move on to questions and theories, or do we even care about that?
We do. But before that, I did want to jump back to plot and story real quick. Um, touch on the intelligentsia part of this, where like the website they had to log into and like all the She-Hulk hate and all that. Another interesting thing, and honestly, that website looked like it was from like the '90s or something, and I was kind of
Yeah, it's very
confused.
poorly done.
But she can just sign up and get an account no matter what. Although it seems like very secretive and everything. Like I can just create a new username and log on. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't know if there's much more that'll play out on that, but that was kind of a weird part of it.
Yeah, I agree. It was again just kind of randomly thrown in there, and I don't really know what the reason was.
Yeah,
If there was,
they may touch on it later. So who knows?
all right, let's move on to what do you need, sweetie? Okay, thank you. Oh, put it on you? Yeah, I can put this necklace on you. Sorry, folks, we have a baby banner emergency.
This may or may not get edited out by horns later.
He's not going to edit it out. Let's be honest with ourselves. So moving on to theories and questions, I've got a big ass glaring question for you.
Let's hear it.
Where's Daredevil? Like, why are
Well,
we going to tease him and then just like completely forget that he's even alive? And we didn't get, they kind of teased her super suit, but we didn't get that either, did we?
no, we saw the dress. We saw the dress
Where's
that was
my
made for her.
super suit? Sorry, that's from Incredibles.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about She-Hulk? No? Okay. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, we saw the dress. But I don't think we've seen the suit yet. So,
So we had
uh,
an entire episode making it a big deal, and then we don't even see it in the next episode. And
mhm.
we tease Daredevil, and he's not even mentioned nowhere near anything.
Yeah, so we're coming up on 3 episodes left, and IMDb and all their infinite knowledge. Lo and behold, Charlie Cox is down to 3 episodes on
Hmm.
here. So,
What is Mark Ruffalo at? I'm curious on that.
5. I don't
Okay.
know
So that's
what.
the 2 that he was in, and the 3
And
that
then the
weren't.
3, yeah, they must just have like this algorithm that runs and like, oh, another episode down. All right, adjust the
Yeah.
number.
Um. So yeah, I guess at this point, my real question is: are we even going to see him? I mean,
Yeah, I
in any
mean,
significant capacity.
with
All
the
right,
tease
sweetie,
with
that's
the
enough.
tease that was given the last episode with his helmet. I mean, he's gonna have to show up. I almost 100%. I don't like saying 100% on things like this, but come on, it's 100%. He's gonna be in there.
And I'm pretty sure, just based on trailers and promotional material, we're going to see Blonsky again as well. So maybe they'll be in the same at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just that's like the one thing I'm still kind of looking forward to in the show, and they still haven't given it to me. I'm just getting really upset about it.
Yeah, yeah. I've got to hope and believe that yeah, Tim Roth is coming back as Abomination at some point, just because it was such a huge emphasis at the beginning, which just goes back to like the disjointedness of the show. Like, oh, you've got this big thread you're pulling on, and then you don't even touch on it for I think 3 episodes now, um,
Yeah, that
which is
sounds
kind of
correct.
weird. So, um, yeah, I think he'll be making an appearance at some point, or at least I hope so.
All right, what do you got?
Um, for me, theories and questions. Um, well, I mean, I think one of the big ones now is the very last scene. They're in the lab. We don't see the faces of anyone, but it looks like they're gearing up for another attack on She-Hulk. So, um, I mean, I mean, we've had theories and questions on this already about who's going to be behind this, and I don't know if any of the Madam Hydra theories have been washed, just because of some of the recent things that have come out with Marvel and I'm trying to think.
At a D23.
Yeah, D23. Yeah,
Yeah.
what was coming out and like um, the roles of people who are playing what. So there really wasn't any abomination connection with Hydra there with Madam Hydra. So still give me behind it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts and theories after seeing that last scene.
I mean, at this point, I'm not convinced that we're going to see a resolution to that scene this season. Because
Really?
they tease something and then they don't talk about it for 4 fucking episodes.
No, it's the same thing with Hulk. Like we had like, oh,
Exactly.
maybe he's going off on the Sakarian ship, going back to Sakaar. Like maybe are we seeing his son, Scar or Ska?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, at this point, theories and questions is more just because we have to fill it in. This show does not require any theories or questions because it is just so, like you said, disjointly done. I think you could almost take everything that was shot for this show, take out the breaking the fourth wall, and reorder some things and mix it up a little bit, and you might
yeah,
have a competent show. But what they're giving us right now is not a very competent show.
yeah. I know.
But that being said, this was probably my third favorite episode of the season. The first one, which I hated at the time, is now like, wow, this is a fucking Emmy-winning Oscar nomination masterpiece of an episode compared to everything else.
Yeah,
Um, and then the second episode was interesting as well, and then this one was just it kind of it none of them mean anything. I guess is what I'm getting at. So theories
yeah,
and questions
and that's
don't matter.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's kind of tough. It to your point, it is tough to kind of like get theories and questions in here, like for this show, because it's like you're watching. I mean, like you mentioned, like an Ally McBeal or just like a regular like
A
sitcom,
sitcom,
which is
yeah,
fine. Sitcoms are great. There are plenty of sitcoms I like, but you don't. It doesn't draw in that same like feeling like we usually get with like Marvel or like superhero or anything else like that. Like to where you can like theorize about things and they give you like little pieces and little nuggets. Um,
yeah.
it's just not the same. It's a
I
completely different feel. So
Yep. It's just they
it's
all do
interesting.
flow together, but you can watch any one of these episodes, interchange them, and you're not going to be missing anything. And that's just not what I want in a superhero show. That's
I
not
agree.
what I
Yeah.
come to expect out of the MCU. Everything is well more thought out than this.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you, except for the first 3 episodes because the Emil Blonsky thing is pretty linear. But other than that, um,
sure, but then they just dropped it off and forgot about it, and like we haven't heard about it in literally half of what we've seen out of the show.
yeah,
It
and when it,
was it was a fairly big part in the first 3 episodes, and then now we haven't heard from it since, and we got episode 7 coming up this next week.
theories and questions is just turning us to
It's just a
talk,
bitch fest.
talking about the show again. But like we said, it's kind of tough to piece them together at this point. But one of the small things that still kind of irks me is episode like 3 or 4, or maybe 2 or 3, I can't remember. Whenever she breaks the fourth wall and says, "This isn't going to be like your superhero of the week." Yes, it absolutely is. And you did it again this week with Mr. Immortal. You brought another one in just for this episode.
Oh wait, so was she making a foreshadowing joke earlier?
I don't know, but like, why are you addressing it and saying like, "Oh, it's not going to be that type of show"? No, it 100% is.
It's called comedy, Nate. Have you heard of it?
No, that's why they go over my head. These yokes people talk about.
All right. Well, you got anything else? I don't. I'm done. I'm over it.
Brian is ready to bury this one 6 feet under the ground. He can't wait for this show to be over.
Yeah, but also if they have like 2 episodes that like build off of each other, or even if the next episode has everything to do with that last scene with them uh, getting the bigger syringe and whatnot, I would totally be back in. But that's not going to happen. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll see you guys later.
Better luck next week.
Yeah.
But
What do you
no,
think
that's
what superhero of the week we're gonna get next week? Squirrel
uh,
Girl.
that's a good question, and they could impress me with that at some point, but I don't know if
They
they
won't.
will.
They won't. All
No,
right.
but
For the
it's
American hero, I am the mad scientist. This has been our review of episode 6 of She-Hulk. You guys can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening to us right now. Hit that subscribe button so you can listen to us next time as well. And if you don't know where you're listening to us at, like we're just on the radio, which would be pretty cool. I don't know if we do that, but if
how
we
did we
were,
get there?
that would be cool. Just go to our website, www.broforcesquad.com. Everything we've got is posted and linked out from there. Comment below on how bad you think this show is to us. I mean, it's got a 4.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
That was
Uh,
the last episode was the lowest rated.
yeah, so that's not great. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I know IMDb is pretty hard, but uh, that's very telling in my opinion. Till next time, we will be eating all of the drinking all the cash bar drinks at the cash bar. I'm done. See, I don't even have the energy to make something funny at the end. That's how
Just make it a
much
double.
this show demoralizes me.
Just go ahead and make it a double.
I can't stop it.
You can't? Oh, hold on. I think I can.
Literally,